We're swimming in data these days. We see charts, graphs, stats, they are absolutely everywhere. But what if I told you that the most important stories are the ones the numbers just can't tell? Today, we're going to go undercover and explore a really powerful tool that helps us understand the world in a much deeper, more human way. We're talking about qualitative research.
It's kind of like having all the pieces of a puzzle, but the picture on the box is missing, right? We have all this data telling us what's happening, but the why of it all, that's still a complete mystery. So we're just left staring at the facts, scratching our heads, and asking a really simple but really profound question.
I mean, think about it for a second. A team launches a brilliant new app, or maybe a nonprofit rolls out what seems like a really promising new program. It looks fantastic on paper, everyone's super excited, but then it just doesn't land. The numbers clearly show there's a problem, but they don't give us the solution. So, where do you even begin to look for answers? And this, right here, illustrates the problem perfectly. The numbers on the left, they look amazing. 10,000 signups. That sounds like a huge success, doesn't it? But then you look closer. The reality is that 95% of those users were gone after just one day. So the quantitative data, the numbers, it tells us what happened, but it leaves us with this massive mystery. Why did they leave? Well, this is where our detective enters the story. Qualitative research is basically the investigator you call in to solve the case. It's not interested in just counting things. It's designed to dig way deeper, to understand the human experience, and to finally uncover the reasons hiding behind the numbers. Okay, so let's properly introduce our detective and see how it works alongside its more famous partner, quantitative research. You can kind of think of them as the Sherlock and Watson of the research world. They're not rivals, they're a crime-solving duo, and each one brings its own unique skills to the table. Now, check this out, because this is what's so interesting. This table really lays out their different jobs. Quantitative research on the right is all about structure. It's rigid, it's perfect for confirming a hypothesis, and it answers questions like what or how many. But then look at the qualitative side. Its whole purpose is to explore. Its methods are flexible. It's literally built to answer the why and how, getting at those things you can't just count, like social norms or personal experiences. And the stakes for ignoring the why are incredibly high. Without understanding the context and the real human reasons behind the data, you don't just risk failure. As this quote from our source material points out, you could actually design something that makes things worse. And that is a serious risk. So how does our detective actually solve the case? Well, every great investigator has a toolkit, right? And qualitative researchers are no different. Let's take a look at a few of their most important methods. So first up, we have the in-depth interview. And this is not just a simple Q&A. It's a real one-on-one conversation that lets the researcher truly listen. It's perfect for getting those detailed personal stories and understanding individual perspectives, especially when the topic is sensitive and you really need to build a high level of trust. Then you've got focus groups. This is where a small group of people, usually around 6 to 8, discuss a topic together. And the magic of a focus group is just watching that conversation unfold as people agree and disagree and build on each other's ideas. It's a fantastic way to understand how an entire community or a group thinks about something. And for the deepest dive of all, there's participant observation. This is where the researcher literally becomes part of the group they're studying. They spend a ton of time with them to understand their culture from the inside out. It's all about seeing what people actually do, not just what they say they do. And trust me, that's a huge distinction. Okay, so we've got the numbers and we've got the detective's toolkit. But, in any investigation, the first big decision is always, where do I even start? How does a researcher pick the right path to solve the case? Well, it really all comes down to the state of your evidence. Are you starting with a solid clue, or are you looking at a complete dead end? The answer to that question is going to determine your first move and really your entire research strategy. And this right here, this is the guide. This flowchart from our source material is a really simple but powerful decision tree for any researcher. It shows us exactly when to pull out our different tools to get the most complete picture possible. So let's look at the first path. Imagine you know almost nothing about a topic. It's a total blank slate. The flowchart here is crystal clear. You start with qualitative research. You've got to go out and explore, describe what you see, and really understand the landscape before you can even think about measuring anything. Now, for the second path, and this takes us right back to our failed app example. You have the quantitative data, you have the numbers, but you just don't know why they are what they are. So what do? You follow up with qualitative research to get that deeper explanation and finally solve the mystery. What this really shows is that it's not about one method being better than the other. They're partners. They work together. One provides the what, the other provides the why, to give us the complete, nuanced, and ultimately the more truthful story. But just like in any good detective story, not all investigations are created equal. You've got good detectives and, well, not so good ones. So what's the mark of a truly great detective? What separates trustworthy, high-quality research from all the rest? It all comes down to two pillars: rigor and ethics. So rigor is all about making sure your evidence is rock solid. This means doing things like triangulation, using different methods and sources to see if they all point to the same conclusion. It means going back and validating your ideas with the people you studied and being totally transparent about every single step you took along the way. And just as important are the ethics. This is all about treating people with respect. It means getting their informed consent, fiercely protecting their privacy and confidentiality, and taking extra special care when you're working with vulnerable groups. But the absolute number one rule, the golden rule, is do no harm. So when you put it all together, you realize that good research is about so much more than just being clever. It's a delicate balance. It's a real commitment to finding the truth in a way that is both solid and respectful, finding those answers reliably and responsibly. So the next time you see a headline with some shocking statistic or a chart that seems to tell a simple story, I want you to ask yourself this question. Remember the detective. Look beyond the what and start wondering about the why, because that almost always is where the real story is hiding. And now you have the tools to go find it.